Welcome to our session on paints and coatings. Paint is a group of suspensions consisting of pigments which float in a liquid medium for use as decorative or protective coatings. Paint is commonly defined as a substance that can be put on a surface to make a film, either clear or colored. Paint made its earliest appearance about 30,000 years ago. The earliest known paintings were found in caves in France and in the Altamira cave in Spain and date from as early as 15,000 BC. 1,000 years later, the Egyptians were making colors from soil and importing dyes such as indigo. To this they added materials that are sometimes found in paints that artists still use: gum arabic, egg white, gelatin, and beeswax. A number of great masters developed new techniques based on their own new paint advancements. Paint was often used to decorate a shelter and is still used that way, but modern technology has now made paint both a decorative and a protective finish. There have been a good number of psychological studies legitimizing the psychological importance of color, and today most major paint companies have color consultants who can work with designers on selection of colors for the variety of project types. Today, paint is the most inexpensive method of changing our environment. It is only since 1867 that prepared paints have been available on the American market. Through the ages, the chemistry of paint has changed, but the basic concept is the same. Paints must go on as a liquid to cover a surface, then dry to a hard, durable, functional film. Most paints are classified according to their binders, that is, whether the contents of the liquid or the vehicle are water or solvent based. A solvent is a substance that can dissolve another substance, or in which another substance is dissolved, forming a solution. Water is the most common solvent. Pigments are fine particles or powders used in paint to confer the following properties: color, hiding power or opacity, and or protection of the painted object. Titanium dioxide is the best for whiteness, brightness, and opacity, making it the superior pigment for hiding power. Titanium dioxide is added to toothpaste, mozzarella cheese, and even the confectioner's sugar on powdered donuts. Other pigments, whether organic or inorganic, simply add color to the paint. Binders are liquid adhesives that form a surface film, much like Elmer's glue once it dries. The adhesive becomes stuck to the surface and dries clear. With the addition of a pigment, the adhesive would dry the color of the pigment. These adhesives bind the pigments to the surface, creating a strong and durable bond. The quality of the binder is an important factor in determining the useful life of a coating. A solvent is the liquid or vehicle in which a component of a formulation is dissolved to form a solution. Solvent evaporation causes the surface to dry. Curing of the surface is by another process called cross-linking. Water-based coatings are called latex, and since water evaporates quickly, drying time is quick. Oil-based paints evaporate more slowly and therefore dry more slowly. The longer the drying time, however, the better the elasticity of the coating. Additives are special purpose ingredients that provide extra performance features. To understand how the important process of coalescence progresses to form a durable finish, let's look at the next slides. Here we have in blue-green the suspension. In this case we're talking about a latex paint, so the blue-green is representing water. The particles are coated with a surfactant, which keep them from sticking one to the other, but the particles are representative of the pigment. As the water evaporates, there becomes less space between the pigments. As you can see, become more dense. As water in the blue-green evaporates, there's less room for the pigment. As the pigment becomes compressed, the particles become closer and closer together. And as the water evaporates in total, the pigment particles combine, and that gives us our painted surface. Several finishes or gloss are available in both alkaline and latex. Gloss or high gloss provides a very shiny surface with easy washability. Higher gloss paints tend to show surface imperfections, requiring excellent proper substrate surface preparation. Semi-gloss is the next step down. It provides a mid-range sheen and with good scrubbability for use in kitchens, bathrooms, and the like. Matte, eggshell, pearl, satin, and flat are terms used by manufacturers to denote a paint formulation of slightly lower pigment volume concentrations and only moderate scrubbability. These paints should be used in areas where frequent cleaning need not occur. The classification of paints according to gloss ratings depends on the ability of the surface to bounce back varying amounts of light directed towards it. This slide shows that as the surface progresses from that of a bumpy flat finish towards the smooth finish of a high gloss surface, that more light is focused and reflected back to the viewer's eye. Another way of saying this is that glossy surfaces have less tooth. The pigment content of paint is comprised of prime pigments and extender pigments. The prime pigments give the paint its color, whereas the extender pigments contribute to improving the efficiency of the primary pigments, such as its hiding power. Even a poor hiding paint can hide well if it is put on thick enough or if enough coats are applied, which results in greater dry film thickness. Besides poor hiding, poor flow and leveling is unsightly and compromises film properties. An increase in the hiding power of a paint occurs during the drying process. It is most significant in non-glossy paints, which after drying have pigments or extender pigments protruding from the surface of the paint liquid, which scatter the incident light and add to the hiding. Some of the light directed towards a paint film is reflected while the remainder continues through the film. The light is refracted or bent as it passes through opaque polymer particles. The degree to which the light is deflected by each encounter is minimal, but there are so many particles that the cumulative refraction is considerable. Eventually, the light is directed back towards its source. Opacity means the lack of transparency or translucence, which is obviously a good quality in a paint. So the question is, what color is snow? Snow is made of frozen water, and water is clear. So why is snow white? Snow is white because there is air between the ice crystals. Light is refracted within the blanket of snow, making it have excellent opacity, just like a dry hiding paint. Gloss and sheen levels are important from the standpoint of performance and appearance. New standards have been established to realign gloss levels in latexes to those of alkalines. Currently, there is a wide range of paints available on the market. Knowledge of the bases, characteristics, and properties of each family of paint allow us as interior designers to make the optimal decision in the selection of paint based on technical and economic requirements of the job. When we get lost in the complexity of the chemistry, it is good to know that we can often turn to the paint companies themselves for their expertise and advice on selecting the proper paint system for our particular application. In this slide, you can see a cross-section through several layers of paint that were done over time in an investigation to determine the original paint color of this structure. Thank you.